What's up, you guys? It's Sarah at carnivore.yogi on Instagram. Thank you so much for coming on to my YouTube channel. Please hit subscribe while you're here and don't forget to like this video. So this video is a little bit different than my typical videos. It's actually not about me, well, kind of. It's about my daughter. My daughter Alexis is 12, she is nonverbal, and she has autism. Now, she actually has her very own YouTube channel. If you want to see some footage of her, she is actually brilliant. And she's the light of my life, but the last 12 years has been quite a journey. She was diagnosed at 16 months with autism. She lost all of her speech and all of her language. I'm not really going to talk about that whole regressive journey here on YouTube because of hashtag censorship, but it was quite a traumatic event for all of us. And as soon as she was diagnosed, we're like, let's throw everything at the book at her. You know, diet was the first thing. So no more gluten, no more dairy, no more wheat, no more soy. Like, we've been kind of on that train for 12 years with the diet. So that's one thing that we did. We started all the therapies possible. We have probably spent at this juncture close to $500,000, and I'm probably underestimating with everything that we've tried with different therapies, but also medical interventions, naturopathic doctors, regular doctors. She's not on any medication at this time because we had tried medication in the past and it was an absolute disaster. You know, she's the kind of kid that it's like, if there's a side effect, she's gonna have it times 10. She's just very sensitive. So, you know, we've been on this diet train for a while, and when the whole thing happened where we lost school, we lost routine, that's when the rubber kind of hit the road around here. She was screaming 5 or 6 hours a day. I'm not even exaggerating. Again, I'm not going to show footage of it, but when she goes into tantrum, it's very violent. And she's, you know, 5'2", 100 and probably 10 pounds. And she's solid. She's my daughter, so we're not little people. We got some muscle. So when she would have a tantrum, she kicks the floor, slams her head into the floor, so I'm worried about brain damage. I've seen her put her head through a window. I've seen her put her foot through a window. This is some serious stuff. And so this whole thing with us being quarantined and losing services was very, like, a traumatic event for everyone. And so I just turned to my husband finally and I said, look, I don't know what else to do. We're putting her on keto. Like, we're going on ketogenic diet. Now, the ketogenic diet, most of you guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but it was actually used in the 20s for children with epilepsy. And the type of autism that my daughter has, there are so many different types. If you know one kid with autism, that's just one kid. They're all gonna present differently. They're all gonna have different symptoms. They're all going to act a little bit differently, but there are some similarities in different groups. So the kind of group that my kid is in, those kids, a lot of them, when they start hitting puberty, they start having seizures. And so I've kind of had on my radar for a bit of time here that perhaps some of the behavior issues we've been having over the last 6 months have to do with puberty, and that we need to perhaps go ahead and get her wired up to be watched for 72 hours. You got to get an EEG, and they have to watch your kid for like 48, 72 hours in a hospital setting. Well, now that we're in the situation we're in, which I also am not going to talk about because hashtag censorship again, but that's off the table. So what can I do? If I suspect it, then I might as well try it. So that's why we went to keto. Some people say keto is an extreme diet for a kid, but if you have a suspicion that your kid might be having an issue like that, and that's a diet that is therapeutically used for these kids, then maybe just try it, you know? So that's where I finally got to. Now, my husband, basically our household is carnivore keto with fruit. So we don't really have a lot of junk around the house, but we had a ton of apples, we had a ton of bananas and a ton of blueberries. And so I turned to him and I said, you got to get the fruit out of the house. If you want to still eat fruit, you got to keep it in your car, because I don't want any more fruit in the house. I don't want her going around looking for fruit to eat, because I've seen her eat 3 bananas in a row. She would just sit there and eat apples all day and skip eating like the meat. So here's the fear that I think a lot of parents run into when they put their kid on keto, or they take away all of their snacks and all of their treats. Well, my kid's not gonna eat, okay? Maybe they won't eat for a day. They're not gonna die if they don't eat for a day. And she refused. I got a big order from White Oak Pastures, and I had beef cheeks, I made her some beef cheeks, and they're delicious for us, but she wouldn't touch those beef cheeks, and they just sat there. I said, okay, that's fine, don't eat the beef cheeks. But guess what? The next day she was hungry, and I heated up those beef cheeks again, and she ate them. So she just had to get hungry enough to eat that food, and that's kind of how it has been for her with this. If she is not hungry enough for it, I don't offer another option. I really don't. Sorry, there's a train going. This is my new filming studio, by the way, now that she's home. So, you know, that's one of the things I think a lot of people fear. But if you don't give them a bunch of other options, they're gonna eventually choose that nutritious food. A couple of products that I have used, after we got over those first few days, I did not offer these products in the first couple of days because I really want her to eat real nutritious food. I want her to eat meat. We do have some steamed broccoli that we do. We're still doing like olives and a few things that very low in anti-nutrients. The vegetables that I give her are very low in anti-nutrients, so she's not eating spinach or kale or anything like that. But we have used a couple of products. So the first product that we use that I actually also eat and love is the carnivore bar. I'll put a link below this video to the carnivore bar. She loves them. Now, ingredients: grass-finished beef, tallow, and salt. Now, he has a grain-finished beef also if you don't like the taste of grass-fed. I like grass-fed better. But I can eat these, and these are amazing. She loves them. If she gets snacky, now she doesn't really snack as much, but she can have these. The other product, which I cannot eat, I'm gonna let you guys know, is a keto brick. Now, we've got a bunch of these. We've got cookies and cream, we've got coconut, coconut cream. There's a whole bunch of flavors, and she absolutely loves these. So what I do is I take this brick, I melt it down, and I pour it into some silicone cups, put that in the fridge, and then if she's hungry, then she can have some of these fat bombs, you know. And she was so highly addicted to like popcorn, which, you know, we're told is not that bad for you, but she would eat tons of popcorn, gluten-free pretzels, things like that. So I think the keto brick is a nice little bridge. For me, I do have to let you guys know that if I eat keto brick, I get a stomach ache and I get a headache. So those, I think I'm still doing some gut healing, which I've talked about in other videos, but these are off the table, and I also have the tendency to overeat them because they're very, very tasty. But for her and for my husband, they've been totally benign as far as symptoms goes, no issues. Now, she would tell me if she had a headache or if something was bothering her, she would start screaming and crying. So, and on the topic of screaming and crying, as I mentioned in the beginning, she was having these epic tantrums when we shifted to a home, like, you're not going anywhere, we're not going anywhere, we're not doing anything. For the last 5 days, now we've been doing keto for her for 14 days. For the last 5 days, she's had zero crying. She's had zero behaviors. She would do this thing where she would just start slapping herself in the head. She would get upset and get frustrated and just start slapping herself, and then it's like we couldn't stop her from going into like epic level tantrum, being on the floor. Like I said, she's like 5'2", 110 pounds. It's hard to move her. Like, it's hard to pick her up because she also somehow knows how to make her whole body like heavier than it actually is. It's like a special talent that she has. But ever since the last 5 days, so we've been doing this 14 days, zero crying, zero aggressive behaviors, zero self-injurious behaviors, which a lot of kids with autism do have. They'll slam their heads into things. Zero. And not only that, usually she runs up and down the stairs, is inside, outside, upstairs, downstairs, just like super hyperactive, totally calm. Just totally calm. Sits on the couch next to me and I can chat with her, hands me her feet, wants me to rub her feet, which I'm like glad to do. I'm thrilled to do. She'll cuddle with me. The kid wouldn't cuddle. She would just sit there and like 5 seconds, gone, run across the room. So this has been life-changing, which is why I'm making this video, because I think that there are other families out there that are afraid to try this with their autistic kids or their kids that maybe have some severe behavior issues. They think they're gonna deprive their children. They think it's gonna be bad for them. They think that the kid's not gonna eat and they're gonna starve to death. There's just a lot of things out there. And we're kind of in a good situation right now to do this. If she wants to go search through all the cabinets, she's gonna find keto brick and carnivore bar. She's not gonna find popcorn, gluten-free cookies, gluten-free pretzels. She's not gonna find any of that. So she can go search through all the cabinets. If she wants something, she can have some of these little treats, fine. But she's not going to school. She can't manipulate any of her therapists into giving her their food, which I know she was doing. There's no other food from other kids that she can steal. Like, it's a good time to do this right now if it's something that you want to do for your kid. And like I said, I'll continue to make more videos to talk about her progress, but right now it has been nothing short of miraculous that she has just calmed, like turned into a different child. Like, she's still my child, she's still my world and my angel, but she's so sweet and she's so calm and she's so regulated. I mean, I really like look at her sometimes, I'm like, is this for real? Is this really actually happening? I mean, it's insane. So I'm sure some of you guys are going to ask some of the foods that I give her. I feed her breakfast nitrate-free, sugar-free bacon. I do cook a lot of like beef cheeks and like the fattier cuts of meat. Now, I've been working with Stephanie, Keto person. She's also helping me with my daughter. And she's like, you know, it's okay to give her some coconut oil. So we do coconut oil sometimes on top of the meat. I'll steam up broccoli. We use the Primal Foods dressings. They have a vegan ranch dressing because she's allergic to eggs. So we can't do eggs, we can't do dairy, no cheese, none of that. So it does make it a little more challenging, but we're able to use the coconut oil. We're able to, she can eat meat, she can eat vegetables dipped in that Primal ranch dressing that has no eggs in it and it's super high fat. And you know, and she can have carnivore bar and she can have keto brick. And I'm also supplementing because she doesn't really like beef liver, but I am using the Ancestral Supplements liver just to make sure that she's getting those other nutrients, but she's not deprived of carbs or anything. Like, she gets like the, you know, vegetables. She's not getting actual carbs, but her only carb source is like a green leafy vegetable with tons of coconut oil on it, like broccoli. We're not doing spinach or kale or anything with oxalates on it or in it, but it, you know, it's not been that hard, you guys. So again, I just want to make this video to encourage anybody out there that maybe is struggling behaviorally with their kids, that this is an option. I do have to watch her electrolytes. I want to throw that in. Sorry for jumping around a little bit. There were a couple of nights where she woke up in the middle of the night and I gave her some electrolytes and she went right back to sleep. So I am making sure to be careful with that electrolyte supplementation, making sure she's getting enough water also, and giving her those beef liver capsules. So it's not just food. Those are the other things that I'm doing with her, just out of my own experience of having issues with my own electrolytes. I know it's important for her also. So I hope this video was helpful, and you know, if you have something nice to say, I would gladly respond to your comment, but I'm probably not going to respond to a lot of unsolicited advice, even though it may be coming from a good place. You guys, I love you. Thank you for watching my channel. Please subscribe. Please share this video with anybody that you think could be helped, and have a really wonderful rest of your day. Bye.